Everybody wants to be a minimalist until it's time to do minimalist stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew. What I have for you today is Minimalist Survival Kit and advanced uses with that kit. Let's go. Welcome back to our jungle camp out here in the bottomlands. Today what we're going to talk about is our minimal survival kit. This is minimal because if we take these items away and we're left with only ourselves, we're going full primitive and we're going to have to resort to primitive methods to affect basic survival needs, being fire, water, food, shelter, and then additionally land navigation, medical aid, and signaling for our 7 priorities of survival. Now a minimal kit is going to have 5 items in it, the 5 items that are the hardest thing for us to recreate out in the wild. That being some sort of cutting tool, fire, cordage, shelter, and then some sort of container for water storage and purification. Those things are the hardest to recreate, and those are going to be the things for our minimal kit that we're going to take with us into the wild. Now there is a lot of things we can do with just a basic minimal kit covering those 5 tools that we can have with us for survival. And I'm going to show you a few of those techniques and some tips and tricks today using these items to affect survival or at least enhance survival. Alright, so here are our 5 items. Should be a surprise to no one. We've got a cutting tool, fire, container, cover, and the poncho, and then cordage for our 5 items. Those 5 items that are the hardest to recreate out in the wild. Now our first item is a good knife. Here we just have a good bush knife, one that is about a hand width in length of cutting surface, a little over 4 inches. Scandinavian grind, great for carving, 90-degree spine, so when we take our ferro rod we can strike sparks off the back with our knife. One that is full tang, as you can see from tip to pommel, is one single piece of metal. And then one other thing in a good bush knife or survival knife, in my opinion, is having one that is 100% carbon steel or O1 tool steel. We can grab a hard rock like a shirt and then strike sparks off the back of our knife onto fine tinder such as char, and then ignite that char, put it into a tinder bundle, and then blow it into flame. So this knife doubles not only as a carving tool or cutting tool, but then with fine tinder like char we can start a fire. And that's our number 1 item. Number 2, ferro rod. They have a duct tape sheath to protect the ferro rod from erosion and from the elements, but a 6-inch by 1/2-inch ferro rod is going to outlast and outperform lighters, matches, magnesium bars, smaller ferro rods. We can take our knife and just scrape along the surface of the ferro rod to ignite tinder, and this will work in a lot of different environments and outlast in a lot of those environments as well, as compared to things like a lighter magnesium bar and matches. Thousands and thousands and thousands of strikes with this ferro rod, and then it won't empty of fuel and it won't fail in operation in colder environments. So a ferro rod for a minimalist kit is a go-to. That's our second item. Now our third item is cordage. We tend to go back and forth in the survival community on 550 cord or Bankline. Number 36 Bankline is a go-to, must-have for survival. Reason being, this number 36 Bankline is tarred mariner's line, meaning it's waterproof, and it's already at a small enough gauge that we can use it for lashing like a Roycroft pack frame. We can use the cordage as a bow drill string for a primitive friction fire set because of the tensile strength is strong enough to handle that much torque in a primitive fire set like the bow drill. And then we can use this for further lashing like a frog gig. And then one thing I like about this is that instead of 550 cord, we would have to gut 550 cord to get to the inner strands. Here all we have to do is take the Bankline, untwist the twisted nylon string, and we're left with 3 different sections, and we can use those, string them together, and turn them into thread for an improvised sewing needle or using that, we can carve with our knife a gill net needle and gauge, and then string it and make a net with this cordage as well to either go fishing or hold our gear. But we can use this cordage for a lot of different purposes, and then we can also break it down a little bit easier than 550 cord and still have a lot left over. So Bankline is going to be our cordage. That fourth item is going to be a poncho for our shelter. We can wear this when it's raining out to protect ourselves from the elements while we're on the move or at a static location because of the grommets. We can tie this poncho up in the trees and create a shelter. And then we can also use this poncho to put our gear in and then lash it to the back of a Wright pack frame or a ladder style pack frame to carry with us on the move if we are without a backpack or don't have a way to transport our gear without just carrying it. But a poncho out here in the bottomlands especially is incredibly important to stay dry and then protect ourselves from the elements as well as our materials and equipment we have with us. So a poncho is going to be our fourth item. And our fifth item is going to be a stainless steel water bottle or canteen. This gives us a way to transport water and then purify water over a fire that we may pull from some of these sources out here. But then with this and the nesting cup, we can remove the lid, place punk wood inside of our metal canteen when this is empty, place the nesting cup over top, place this in a fire, and produce char material with this canteen that we can use for fire lighting using the back of our knife or our ferro rod for future fires as opposed to using a primitive bow drill fire set. But this canteen gives us a lot of options to cook food, boil water, make medicine, make char, contain water, travel with water to another location and be able to move over distance and rehydrate. So a metal canteen and cup is incredibly important and will be the container for our minimalist survival kit. Now with this minimalist kit, we can do things to enhance our survival situation. The first thing I would recommend is starting to create more tools once we're out of that window of emergency where we need to provide for our basic life functions like hydration, thermoregulation, and protection from the elements. And one of those first tools that we can create is a digging stick. Now this digging stick is multifunctional. First, we just create a nice point on the end. On the other end, we can carve it off to make it rounded so we got a good handhold, and we can use this to dig in to earth for resource gathering. We can also use this as a baton to baton against our knife into sections of wood for notch carving, and then even use the other end or an end of this to wrap our cordage around and use as a toggle to tighten lashings by using leverage to tighten lashings for things like a Wright pack frame. We can also use this stick as a weapon or a hunting tool as a throwing stick for ground game like rabbits and grouse. So you can see that a simple stick with a point end and a rounded end, about an arm's length total, can be a multifunctional tool that people have used cross-culturally for generations to dig with, throw, and catch game, and then as a tool to add mass behind a small knife for batoning, and then as a toggle for leverage. We can use this simple tool to enhance our situation. All right, now with our knife, and now that we have our digging stick, we can create other things from the landscape. One of those things is a needle and a gauge. We can simply take small pieces of material, carve them down to our gauge size, and then a needle, and carve out the interior of our needle. We can then take our Bankline, unthread it, creating those 3 threads by undoing that twist, and then lace it up into our needle to create a net using our gauge and our needle, using just a simple system to put this net together. We can use this net to gather food from water sources around our area, although it is highly regulated, so make sure to check your area before you put in a gill net. But then we can use this net to hold our gear as well. But this is a method for creating another passive hunting tool or gathering tool for survival. Now, if we know how to make natural cordage just from the barks of a lot of different trees out here or shrubs, we are never without cordage. So we can take that bark, scrape off the outer layer once we strip the bark from the tree, and then use it in a French braid fashion to construct straps for our Wright pack frame. We can do the same thing with our knife and baton that we did to process down our needle and gauge to make a Wright pack frame. We can simply get 2 large uprights and then 3 horizontal sections using our Bankline again because we have a ton of it. We can lash these together to create a ladder style pack frame that we can put our gear on, and then using our know-how with barks and primitive cordage, we can create straps from that bark or the inner layer of bark to carry our equipment, and now we have a ready-made backpack to travel with in enhanced survival, just in case we have to move from our current location to another location where there are more resources. We have a way to carry our gear and still have our hands free to pick up resources along the way or possibly hunt along our way to that new campsite. One rule of thumb for survival is fish first. We can fish using our gill nets, we can fish using hooks and different things we create off the landscape. We can also go after amphibians like frogs, which are plentiful and easy game to catch when the sun starts to go down and it's nighttime. But we can create a frog gig. Frog gig, we just have 4 simple tines split with our knife and then held out in place with 2 sticks, and then we can use our bank line to wrap around our tines and secure those sticks in place, keeping that fork out so we can grab food or animals at the water's edge like frogs, pin them down, grab them with our hands, and then secure them for food and sustenance. But another tool we can make that's more advanced to go hunting and actively hunt is a simple frog gig where the food is plentiful at water's edge during dawn and then dusk time frame, where we can get food easily and then feed ourselves in a survival situation. Another thing we can do is feather sticking. Feather sticking is kind of one of those routine bushcraft skills that everybody should know how to do. It's not very hard, but we can find a dry section of material like this cottonwood and then fashion a feather stick out of it just by simply shaving or scraping small layers of that wood onto itself and feathers. Now, a good survivalist like Morse Kohansky once said can get about 20 on one stick. I'm not very good at keeping them on the stick, so I would just gather them up, secure them in some sort of container, and then we can use this for fire lighting later on as a tinder source, getting at dry material inside a piece of wood like this, and then having that ready to go for a fire if everything else is wet. So feather sticking, another advanced option for fire starting out in the bush. Now, one technique we can do with our bow drill here is find a piece of pine fat wood and use that fat wood as a bearing block. The resin in the fat wood will limit the friction at the top of our spindle and the bearing block and concentrate it down in our hearthboard where we need it to create that ember. So this is another advanced option for bow drill, is using fat wood as our bearing block to concentrate friction down in our hearthboard. Then even with a knife or a machete, we can make a platform to lay on like the one you see here where all the gear is laid out to get up off the ground and make our night just a little bit more comfortable at this camp. Now with our canteen and cup, we can put these in the fire after removing the lid to purify water, but we can also suspend these over fire to keep it up off the ground and easily access the water and food that we're going to cook in these metal canteen cups and containers by simply creating a tripod. We just have a tripod with a toggle here, 3 sticks tied together with our bank line, and then we create a toggle to place inside of our canteen, and that toggle will grab the edges of our canteen, kind of like a gorge fishing hook, and then suspend that over the fire, and we can lower that or raise that as needed to purify water, boil it, and then get at it very quickly without having to put all our containers in the fire and without burning ourselves. So a tripod and a toggle are another advanced method of enhancing our survival situation. You can see we have a lot of things that we can accomplish, and there are many more with this minimalist kit, but these are just some of the few main ones, at least here in the bottomlands, and a lot of other places that we can use for survival. We've got multifunctional tools like a digging stick. We can also use as a throwing stick, baton, or toggle. We've got our Roycroft pack frame and our natural cordage as shoulder straps so we can carry all of our equipment hands-free and move over distance. We've got ways to actively hunt and fish with our frog gig, and then our gorge needle made from bone so we can get to that water source, find sustenance, and then feed ourselves and maintain calorie intake. We can also use our gill net for carrying items as well as a survival food procurement device by carving down our needle and our gauge and then placing it into the water to attempt to catch some game. Multiple ways to start fire, ways to help us with tinder, feather sticking, too easy. We have our bow drill set and our advanced technique of using fat wood as a bearing block to reduce friction at the top of the spindle, concentrate it in the hearth where it needs to be to get that ember. And then we have our ferro rod, obviously, but we can use the back of our knife with a piece of shirt to ignite fine tinder, like char cloth, that we can place inside of our canteen with our canteen cup over top, put it in a fire, superheat that cotton material or that punk wood, and we have a ready-made tinder source available, ready to go. And then we obviously have our poncho for shelter and then to wear to protect ourselves from the elements. We can also put up a platform like this basic platform our gear is spread out upon and get up off the ground because the creepy crawlies are out here at nighttime. And we can get a better night's rest up off the ground underneath our poncho to preserve energy, maintain mental clarity and function so we can survive whatever situation that we're going into. That was our minimalist survival kit, those 5 items that are the hardest to recreate from the landscape, and then some advanced techniques to make those items much more multifunctional, give us the best chance of survival with the gear that we have using items and materials from the landscape. So I hope you guys like this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for the channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.